Good morning, gang. Happy Tuesday. So, okay, we talked about Overreach the other day, and this one strikes a little close to home for me. But I want to give you another story. Talk about it here. A lot of you guys have talked about how your jobs could be in jeopardy. You know, whatever would be. Gee, if they mandate it at work, then I've got a choice, either do it or quit. And, for a lot of people, that's a very tough decision. And I get it because, like I've said from the beginning, everything should be a choice. And, with all the information that you have, you should be able to make an intelligent choice, no question. Okay. Whether it's religious reasons, medical reasons, whatever, there are people that have reasons that, a mandate can't be blanket coverage to everybody. There's nothing in life that is absolute other than death and taxes. We know that, okay? There's not a one-size-fits-all approach to anything. But I want to give you this where I say when we get into overreach, okay? There was a story out where a guy, 21-year-old kid in Cincinnati, pleaded guilty to possession of fentanyl, okay? And God knows I'm going to be the last person that's ever going to say go easy on somebody who's doing drugs, okay? Especially fentanyl, okay? Hell, that thing kills more people than, about anything each year. The problem I have is the kid was sentenced to a suspended sentence, okay? And probably has to do his rehab classes or, whatever else would be for a drug possession charge, okay? And that's fair, fines or whatever he's got to pay. Where I get my nose bent out of shape a little bit here is when the judge ordered him to get our buddy there and within 60 days, and if he didn't, he gets 18 months in jail. Now that's pushing it, okay? Where in the world does a judge get off saying you have to do something like this, okay? Sorry, again, executive, legislative, judicial. Judicial is to interpret the laws, not to make the laws, okay? And I doubt there's anything in the penal code that will back up the judge. Now, of course, the judge will say something along the lines of, we've got to make sure that he becomes a productive member of society, et cetera, et cetera. But this one kind of hits the wrong way. But this is how far it's being pushed by some of these liberal judges. And I guess this judge is not the only one in Ohio that's done this, that there's a couple of other judges, what was it, Franklin County, I think, or Cuyahoga County, both have been offering defendants reduced probation sentences if they get the Happy Jack here. So, that's a little over the line for me, okay? But the one that really hits home, and a few of you guys emailed me, and it's all over the news yesterday, is the Pentagon came out and said they're going to order all troops to get shot by the 15th of September, okay? And Lloyd Austin, who's defense secretary, came out and said, no, just quote this, "I will seek the president's approval to make the vaccines mandatory no later than mid-September or immediately upon licensure by the Food and Drug Administration, whichever comes first. I will not hesitate to act sooner or recommend a different course to the president if I feel the need to do so." Now, this is where it gets really sticky, okay? Because when you join the military, officer or enlisted, okay, you literally sign away all your rights as an American, okay? You are now property of the U.S. government. GI stands for government issued, okay? And, so now you're literally owned by the government. So technically, legally, yeah, they have the right to do it. Okay. Now, the problem comes here is, and we've all seen this, over the years, where exceptions are made in the military for different religious groups, ethnic groups, whatever it would be. Okay, you can wear a hijab. You can have hair that's longer. If you're a Rastafarian or something like that, you're allowed to have, different hair standards or whatever it would be. So there's been exceptions made. Are there going to be any exceptions made here for the military, especially based on religious reasons? Now, of course, in the military, everybody bleeds green, okay? Or at least in the Army. I mean, blue for the Air Force, whatever you want to talk about, okay? But you get my point. Now, you got to do what's best for the unit and everything of the sort. But is this truly what it is? And this is where I get into it, okay? Now, there's a New York attorney who specializes in military law. So, again, he's probably the defense attorney if somebody's court-martialed or whatever it would be. And he said he's receiving calls from airmen serving at Wright-Patterson, and from active duty members across the country asking about options if the DOD mandates all of this, trying to see if they've got, if they can litigate their own personal case or if they can get as part of a class action case. So, that makes it kind of interesting. But, here's the catch. What this is going to do to people, could somebody opt out? Sure, I guess. Okay, now depending on what the punishment is, and the military is supposedly saying that this is going to be a refusal to obey lawful orders if you object to getting our buddy there. But, people could do it. Now, what's going to be the punishment? Could it be an Article 15, okay, which is non-judicial punishment, but, that'll get you loss of pay, restriction of quarters. It'll hurt your chances of getting promoted. So, if you plan on making a career out of the military, forget it. That'll be done. If they go further and say you can't serve, which I'm not saying that they are, but I mean, that's obviously a possibility. What do they give these guys? If you signed a 4-year enlistment contract and you've been in for 1 year and you refuse, what are they going to say? General discharge? Medical discharge? Dishonorable discharge? I mean, a medical discharge is fine, okay? If they go that route, okay. But a general discharge or a dishonorable discharge, I mean, that's the kiss of death for the rest of your life, okay? Anything other than honorable is not a good discharge when you are seeking out civilian employment. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had to show my DD-214 to potential employers, especially when I had clients that I was working for that were in the defense industry or working for the government of somehow. And I mean, that's anywhere. I mean, I've worked for Raytheon, I've worked for Lockheed Martin, I've worked for, Jacobs Engineering, that all somehow, some way have something to do with the military, okay? And so, they want to make sure that you've got, in some cases, my clearance, and in other cases, certainly at least my honorable discharge. So, when we're thinking about, oh my God, I'm going to potentially have to quit my job or lose my job, think about these guys, because they're not considering a job. They're considering a decision that will affect every job they have for the rest of their life. And that gets to be a little pushy. And what we're going to see here A lot of you guys say, "Oh, I don't believe the military." The military won't follow. They'll do whatever they're told. If they're told to shoot on American citizens, they do it or whatever. And I've said from the beginning that won't happen, and I still stand by that. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with all of this here in a month. If it ever happens. I mean, it could wind up in the Supreme Court and tabled for ages. Who knows? But just the fact that the Biden administration is doing this to people that it has authority over, if that doesn't scream totalitarian government and dictator, I don't know what does. So, say an extra prayer for all those guys and gals in the military right now. Today was not a good day for a bunch of them when they heard this. Let's hope that Lloyd Austin uses, the brain God gave him and thinks about what devastating effect this could have on military morale. Again, they're all supposed to be together as one, and you certainly don't want to start pitting them, again, if we go into the military, you're not black, you're not white, you're not Hispanic, you're not Asian, you're green, okay? We certainly don't want them to start pitting vaxxed versus unvaxxed against each other. That is complete mission disaster for the military. And considering everything that's going on right now, the one thing that we need is a unified military that's got each other's backs. So, just something to think about this morning. But, like I said, say an extra prayer for these guys tonight. They deserve it. So have a good have a good Tuesday. There we go. We'll see y'all tonight at the live stream. Pinball Preparedness for that one. Have a good one. Pinball out.